Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, I am, of course, as always, Dancy2, and I'm back. I had to take a bit of a hiatus there, and the reason for that is twofold. One, I recently got a new occupation, and I'm still kind of getting worked into that, so my video uploads are still going to be a little bit slow. I kind of implied this in my last video, but I'm going to say it out right here. I do have a new job, so I'm going to be putting a lot more time and effort into that than my videos, at least at the current rate. But I figured I'd still do something a little bit to celebrate the reconciliation of the other main problem, which is my monitor decided to explode. And as a result, yeah, I was honestly hoping to get these videos out like a week ago, but I had to go find a new one, and I got a decent one. It's okay. I mean, the main problem is the speakers don't come with it this time around, so I've got these really crappy old ones, but whatever. You're not here to listen to my problems. You're here to figure out where I've been for the past few days if you care, and if you care, listen to my response to Pokemon. Now, I had an entire spiel on the what was it, the May or no, it was E3. I had an entire spiel on like the E3 news we got all ready to go out with the last couple episodes, and then my monitor exploded. And in between me getting a new monitor and now they've had another batch of news come out because Pokemon and Nintendo are insane and I love them. So you're gonna get the audio from the previous update now, and then after that, we're gonna go over all the new stuff that came out at the end of June, early July. But we're gonna go over the E3 stuff now, and then after that, we'll go over the new stuff because I already have the E3 stuff pre-recorded. So see you guys in a second. Okay, so I don't know how well this is going to turn out because I'm recording a much larger screen size than ever before, but I was going through my editing footage and I realized I'd only got about 24 minutes, so we actually have about like 10 minutes or so. We can just sit here and shoot the shit about Pokemon Sun and Moon, and I feel like that's actually a really good way to do this, considering I don't know when I'm going to be able to record next. Blue. I want to talk about all the news that's come out since the last episode I did, which I think we got like 3 information dumps since then, so this is a shitload of news. And I just wanted to throw my personal opinions out on it because it's so much, and I am doing this. I do love Pokemon and all this other junk. So, get it out of the way, get it fast, get it done. Let's take this in no particular order. Alola region. Let's go over our designs first. I actually really like this. As I said before, obviously there was going to be more than one island. It looks like we've got somewhere between... They said there's 5 main islands. Technically 6. And up in here is 7. Up in here. This is what me and my friend Pyro noticed almost right away. We saw this. We're thinking up there might be some kind of... my personal opinion is it's either some kind of... it's like Mirage Island, so it's an event island where you go to get event legendaries, or praying Battle Frontier, because this island right here, this is League. I'm telling you right now, that's Pokemon League. That's not Frontier. It's not big enough to be Frontier. Here, we can't see enough to tell whether it's Frontier or not. Other than that, I don't know why we have ice in fucking Hawaii. I don't think there could be an island high enough in Hawaii to have ice, but I guess we gotta have an ice region. I really liked, I both simultaneously loved and hated, Unova for its ice region, because one of the ice regions was like, it was literally like a cold storage. Like a place where you put, like, stuff that needs to stay cold to store it. And that was an entire dungeon, and that had ice Pokemon in it. And I thought that was a really good, like, artificial way to make an ice area. And then they just had a standard ice mountain. I'm like, what was the point? And you're thinking outside the box in one hand, and then you're blowing it in the other. Whatever, we don't have time to go into detail here. Keep going. Our characters this time around. I think I might actually be going girl this time around. I looked at both these characters, and her design is just speaking to me far more. Also, major thing I noticed that's really cool, their shoes are based off the starters. His shoes are based off of Popplio. Her shoes are based off of Litten. And if I had to guess, your rival's shoes, no one else's shoes are based off of, Rowlet. Okay, so it's just your shoes that are based off the starters, which is kind of weird. But yeah, you've got the black, orange, and the yellow for the eyes, and then you've got the white wavy patterns and the single ball for Popplio's nose. The ball's not red, but you cannot deny that these shoes are based off their designs, which I think is a really cool thing. Also, some kind of stone here, not Mega Evolution stone, might work for Mega Evolution, but a lot of different theories coming back. Synchro Evolution's apparently a thing. Could also be some kind of burst mechanic like in Pokemon Tournament. Who knows? We don't know at this point. I'm hoping it's nothing stupid. I'm a little bit worried though because it could Pokemon I don't want I don't want it from here on out that every generation has a gimmick. And I'll admit there is something like that. Every generation is defined by what it does. I'd say the only exception to this rule is really Gen 4, and that's because Gen 4 was such a hard crunch and rewrote so many of the rules prior to it that it's kind of defined by that, and you could see that as a gimmick in a weird way, but I don't want every generation to be a gimmick. Now, the positive thing is I have heard from sources that Pokemon does not want to remove any implemented mechanics into the game, so it's not like Mega Evolutions are going away just because we have this new mechanic, so hopefully it won't be as ridiculous as Mega Evolution, because then you beg the question of what's the difference between the two of them. Hopefully they'll take it in a different direction, that it's not just a replacement, but who knows. Anyway, we got Jay-Witz here, we got Lily, who God knows about her, and Hal, who hopefully is not just going to be another Scooby Gang member and is actually a legitimate threat. I don't know about it. Apparently, I've seen, like, the first battle that they showed off, and apparently, like, his first battle, he's already going to have a second Pokemon. He's going to have a Pichu, which, you know, good starting point. He's not going to just be crap. You know, hopefully that works. Because that was my biggest complaint about X and Y, was difficulty in the fact that your rival was just the Scooby Gang. Anyway, we go over to Pokemon. We got Magearna, you know, standard thing. We all know about Magearna now. Solgaleo, Lunala. Like I said, apparently they're going to have, like, hyper forms or something once they use their special attack. We got their types revealed. Why the fuck does everything have to be Psychic? I don't even care about the Steel and Ghost. I just want to know why we have to have so many Psychic legendaries. Seriously? They come down here. Let's take these in no particular order. Yungoos. Probably my favorite out of the 3 new ones we've seen. Because he correlates to a real-life thing. There was, I think it was a major, like, rat population or something in Hawaii. There was a major population of something, and they introduced a bunch of predators. And then those predators got seriously out of control, and Yungoos is kind of an allusion to that. I think it was cats, though. I don't think it was monkeys. Then we've got Pikipek. I'm not really too fond of Pikipek, mainly because I just feel like, as a woodpecker Pokemon, he feels kind of out of place in Hawaii, unless Hawaii has a lot of woodpeckers that I don't know about. I wouldn't think they would. But, you know, other than that, always like having another Pokemon with Skill Link. Nothing too bad there. And we got Grubbin. It's the bug. We got the bug, the rodent, and the bird. It's, you know, standard fare. But apparently he's like a foot long, and that terrifies me. Then we got our starters, and that's about it for that. Go back up here. Goal features. Anything new? Battle Royale. This is something people were asking for since X and Y. We'll get on to Rotom in a minute. But yeah, this is really cool because it's kind of a scoring mechanism of how... It's not just defeat everyone else, because that would take forever. And it already did take forever back when we were ad-hocing it with double battles. But now that we're actually going to have a system in place, it's going to be whoever gets knocked out first just automatically loses. And then it depends on how many Pokemon you lost compared to how many Pokemon you beat. And it's kind of a scoring system, and whoever has the most points at the end wins. I think this is a really good way to implement it and cut down on time. Because it also adds another layer of strategy, like, okay, I could take this guy out and end the battle right now, but that's not going to help me because I'm 2 points behind, and that'll only give me the 1 point. I'm not even going to tie at that point, so I need to take out other people first. And it's a good way to keep people in the battle as well, because it's not going to be like, oh, I lost all 3 of my Pokemon instantly to a triple earthquake. I just get to sit out for the rest of the fight. No, then you immediately get something, you know, the fact that everyone is always going to be involved in the fight. There's no one going to be sitting around afterwards. And I feel like that's a really good thing. Back here. I don't want to hit the back button because of Flash, and I don't know how this website works. And then we got the Rotom Pokedex. I don't think anyone saw this coming. The fact that not only are we getting a new Rotom form, but it's a key gameplay mechanic. And the fact that it comes with a built-in minimap. One of my most wanted things when I was playing X and Y was a minimap. And now we got one. I'm good with that. That's about it, I think. We got QR code scanning. There's still very little information on that as far as how specifics it works. I think it can really be worked for just about anything. And then we got the videos here. I'm not going to show any of them because I don't want to get killed by Nintendo. This might already get me killed, but whatever. They want to monetize my videos, fine. I don't care. And I don't think I have to edit anything out. I don't think I showed anything I didn't need to. I'm always leery about recording websites for that reason. But yeah, that's my overall thoughts and opinions at hyperfast speed for all the new Pokemon Sun and Moon news that came out. That's a tongue twister. If I'm trying to say it at 1,000,000 miles per hour, which I am. Okay, back now. So, what we got at the end of June was basically just a whole bunch of Pokemon, so I guess I'll just take them in order and kind of go over how I feel about them. First off, let's just go over Zygarde. Apparently, his complete form is now going to be, it's going to be activatable from any form. I've heard a lot of things about Zygarde. He's kind of like a lot of fan theories are going around about him. One of the bigger ones that I've seen, and I don't agree with it at all, is that that Sun and Moon is going to be the end of Pokemon before they like reboot or just end it outright. I don't think they're going to do that. This is a cash cow. I don't see Nintendo dropping this. It just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like the whole inclusion of Zygarde is just, if you look at it from it's a 20th anniversary standpoint and we need to make hype, them going to a new generation makes sense in that light. And with all of that, I don't really see there being any deeper connection to this. Like Z, I feel like Z was a planned thing, but they kind of had to drop it because it's not as exciting to release a third game on your 20th anniversary, but who knows, maybe they are gonna reboot Pokemon and everything we know and love is gonna go to hell and all that stuff. Like, if you ask me what do I want out of Pokemon Reboot, I don't want a Pokemon Reboot. I like the game just the way it is. It is a very... It's good for what it's supposed to be, and I don't think that's what a lot of people who are asking for a reboot understand. Is that this is not supposed to be a complicated game. This isn't supposed to be, like... In terms of RPGs, this isn't supposed to be Final Fantasy or Skyrim. It's supposed to be, something anyone can pick up and play and have a good time with. And I guess that contradicts what I said about difficulty curve in X and Y, but that was kind of the point of X and Y. But... yada yada yada. I like the games the way they are. Maybe a little bit more depth, but that's what Oris was. Oris was a lot of depth, so I can't really complain. And I don't think we should abandon this ship. In fact, if anything, this is now is the aside from Pokemania back in the late 90s, this is the best time to be a Pokemon fan because there are more Pokemon fans than ever now. But on to our next subject. This beautiful fish. Oh my god. This is like somebody just took Gorbis and said, I can do that better, and they made this abomination, but I love it. And the reason I love it is that ability, Dazzling. From what we've seen, it shuts down priority moves. And with its water psychic typing, I feel like this thing was designed to be a Mega Kang counter. Because Dazzling will shut down Fake Out and Sucker Punch. If it has good defenses, it can soak up returns and unboosted double edges really easily if it has good defenses, which most water types do. And the fact that it's a water psychic type means it's going to eat up earthquakes and, most importantly, power-up punches like it's nobody's business. This thing was designed to counter Mega Kang, and I am 100% behind that. What do we got next? Cutiefly. This thing is very obviously going to have more evolutions to it. I can't really make a judgment call based on it right away. But just what it is, I guess it's okay. It has Shield Dust as an ability. I don't remember what that is. Maybe I'll throw it up on screen right now, but I think that's an okay ability. Honey Gatherer isn't anything special. That's just pick up for one item, but aside from that, I don't know. Next up, we have Drampa. I love this guy. He has a new ability called Berserk, which looked like it increased, I believe it was his special attack when he got hit by a Dragon-type move, or when he went below a certain HP point, and he has Sap Sipper, which Goodra has proved Sap Sipper could work very well, but normal Dragon is a very strange typing. He basically doesn't benefit from the secondary typing, except for, I guess you get stab returns. But there isn't really... If he's a special attacker, I don't see him benefiting from that at all. There isn't really a... Most normal attacks, most high-end power normal attacks are physical-based. They're not special-based. So, except for maybe Hyper Beam, unless I'm missing one. unless I'm not remembering a normal attack that's special and high level, and is kind of like a universal damage attack. I don't think Last Resort is, but even then, there's better Last Resort users. Um, I guess maybe Tri Attack, but I don't see him using. He's not Tri Fiend. He can't use Tri Attack. So he's a heavy sucker though. 407 pounds. He's a fucking dragon. He better be. But that just means he's gonna get wrecked by low kick though. Jesus Christ. But yeah, just Sap Sipper, and honestly, Sap Sipper, I don't see that as being as big a thing on him because he's already dragon, he already resists grass. But like I said, Gudra Proof Sap Sipper could work perfectly fine. So who knows? Maybe he can spin that and make it work. Next up, we have Togedemaru. That's right. I've heard some of these names, so I just have to think about him for a second. He's the roly-poly Pokemon, and he's electric steel typing. It's our Pikachu clone for the generation. What else am I going to say about it? He's got Iron Barbs and Lightning Rod, two fairly defensive abilities. The problem with Iron Barbs is he's going to be compared to Ferrothorn no matter what. And I'm sure he could actually do some things with that, but he has to have the right stats to make Iron Barbs work. Like, the reason Ferrothorn makes Iron Barbs work is because he's ridiculous in terms of his defenses. So you just slap a Rocky Helmet on him and he just starts taking massive chunks off the HP of whatever touches him. I don't know if this guy's going to be able to do the same thing. And honestly, out of all of the Pikachu clones that have come across, so Plusle Minun, Marill, Pachirisu, Emolga, and Dedenne, I think, like, just in terms of design-wise, I wouldn't put him as low as Emolga. Emolga is one of those things, is what I call a boss Pokemon. It exists solely to be a boss in the game. So I wouldn't put him lower than that, but I would... who would be in between there? I guess... Because all the other Pikachu clones I kind of like. I guess he would be under Plusle and Minun, but definitely above Emolga. And my phone's ringing. Just beautiful! Okay, we're back. They didn't leave a message, so it's all good. But yeah, I would definitely put him under Plusle and Minun, but definitely above Emolga. And I think that's where he's going to stand in terms of... unless his stats are crazy, I think that's where he's going to stand in terms of just general usability as well. Next up, we've got Grubbin's whole line. We got the entire line. So we've got Charjabug. I love this guy. I love his design. I actually like it worded the fully leveled evolution. I don't remember what battery does. Does it say down here? It's perfectly still in preparation for its evolution. Often spends time buried in the earth. It's able to store up electricity. Can store up enough power. Charjabug has the battery ability. An ability that has not been seen. The battery ability allows it to raise. Oh, that's actually kind of awesome. So, like, you just throw him out on the field, make him super tanky, and just have him boost all the special attacks of your allied Pokemon. I see this guy being really powerful in VGC with an Eviolite. So, I'm down for that. I actually really like Eviolite Pokemon. I know some people are kind of like, it should be the final evolution. But I'm like, with the exception of Dusclops, who completely breaks Eviolites, no one really, like, it is designed to make less viable Pokemon more viable. And in an instance like this, where he has a very unique ability, and very few weaknesses, honestly, like, he completely, like, Bug will remove the Earthquake weakness. And aside from that, I think he's just got, like, standard Bug weaknesses. And he could probably deal with Flyers pretty easily with electricity, but whatever. The point is, I could see this guy being really fun in VGC to use. So, there's him one more time. If I'm keeping the video this time around. Which I might not be. Who knows? Depends on how it looks. But anyway, then we got Vikavolt. A lot of people are really loving this guy. Like I said, I'm more hyped for his pre-evolution. I feel like his pre-evolution is going to be a lot of fun in doubles competitive. And this guy is just... He's just kind of a Bug Electric who can fly. He's like Galvantula, except not a Tarantula. Which I guess is a little bit better, but look at those mandibles. They could chop your head off in a single bite. He's like Pinsir, except even more threatening because they're actually sticking outward instead of up. I don't think I ever talked about these two, Komala and Rockruff. Anyway, he's got the comatose ability, which means he can only fall asleep, which... Little thing you guys might not know, because I haven't really done this in the LP yet, but I'm actually pretty heavy on rest sets. So I know how sleep works pretty well, so this is kind of... I understand the power of this. This could potentially be pretty nice. And the other thing is, of course, he can come into status effects. He's kind of a tank buster. He can't be poisoned. He can break through walls. And as long as he has good stats, I see him being decent when he evolves. As long as he doesn't lose that ability as well. And next up we have Rockruff. Very interesting Pokemon. Initially I was looking at his rock typing in Kenai and thinking this guy could actually be a really effective Drifloon counter. And while I still think that, Vital Spirit should not be ignored either. It's definitely going to give him some kind of advantage. There's actually... Between him and Tapu Koko, there's a lot of, like, sleep blocking in this gen. And with, just things revolving around sleep with those two and, Komala. So, I'm not sure if there's something behind all of that this gen is kind of more sleep designed than anything else, but it's a very interesting thing. Also, from his description, a lot of people, or this is something I've heard from at least one place, that a lot of people say he might evolve into a werewolf. Because he talks about getting wilder as he gets closer to evolving, which I think is a very interesting thing. If being a pure rock type wasn't interesting enough already. He's also supposed to have a connection with the 3 starters, so that's another interesting point. Probably something to do with the stone we have on our bracelet, but nobody knows for certain yet. Anyway, fairly interesting Pokemon, fairly diverse in terms of its potential possibilities, but aside from that, nothing really known at this point. He's got a very fluffy tail, though. And the last one is Tapu Koko, Electric Fairy. I hate this thing. As I said before, I run rest strategies with a lot of my Pokemon. His ability, Electric Surge, changes the field into electric terrain, which blocks sleep. I can't rest when this guy's on the field. Which kinda sucks. But aside from that, I see, like, obviously, just being able to shoot out electric terrain, that it is a good counter to my kind of strategy, where I use a lot of bulky waters with rest, and his ability to just shut that down, that's a good counter, because before this, Hydration Rest was, in my opinion, one of the most broken strategies in the game, where Manaphy and, Vaporeon were kind of, they were really hard to counter, because they didn't care about status effects. As long as they had their rain up, they basically had infinite healing, and they were really bulky to boot. So he just comes in. I don't know if he takes away... I don't think electric terrain takes away the rain. I think it's 2 different categories of things, but he takes away their ability to rest, which is even worse. Because that means that they can't heal at that point, and all of a sudden they're in a lot of trouble. Not to mention the fact that his electric type, he's just going to hard hit them and hard counter with his own attacks. And... aside from that, he looks cool. Look at him. He's like some kind of crazy fire tiki thing. I love it. But aside from that, I think that's everything. I don't think I missed anything new at least. So yeah, hopefully I'll edit this all together and it will all turn out okay. And hopefully I'll get you an actual episode of Pokemon Red eventually. Because I think the rest of my day off today is going to be just editing video. Not that I'm not having fun. I had a butt ton of fun doing the first half of this video. So, I'll see you guys when I see you. Bye. Yeah, not so fast, previous me. We got one more to talk about. This is what actually held up this video from coming out. It was supposed to go out about a week ago, and then Pokemon went upside my head again. You are both the bane and love of my existence. Either way, Salandit is a brand new Pokemon, Poison Fire type. Unique ability of Corrosion, which will allow him to poison Pokemon that would normally be immune to poison type attacks. Or it's kind of unclear about this. I think it only allows him to poison the Pokemon that would normally be immune. Whether or not just standard attacks will work is unknown at this time. His main use, obviously, is going to be as a Heatran counter, because Heatran's got that weird typing where he's immune to all forms of dot damage in terms of status ailments. So he's immune to fire, burning, and steel, which makes him immune to poison. Corrosion doesn't care about that steel part. Makes it immediately puts toxic on him. But the problem is, in order to counteract this crazy ability, apparently he's going to have pretty low stats. And my assumption is because of that, he's also not going to evolve necessarily. So this kind of puts him in direct competition with other kind of status Pokemon, like Smeargle or certain Prankster users. And I'm not really sure if he's going to be able to overcome them, because Smeargle's a very powerful Pokemon because of its near limitless potential, and Prankster, obviously priority is a big deal. But maybe not having that priority is a good thing, considering what we saw with the fish Pokemon previously. I can't remember its freaking name right now off the top of my head, but the point is, this guy could fit a niche, but I think only time will tell whether or not that's actually going to succeed or not. In any case, Pokemon just put up a new trailer as well on the day I'm recording this. But I'd rather talk about that in an actual video, because there's a lot less to go over there, but it's also a lot more important, because it's actual gameplay mechanics rather than just brand new Pokemon. Brand new Pokemon, I could just lump them all together. New information, that's a little bit more pressing. So whether or not this video ever sees the light of day is kind of irrelevant, but I do want to talk about that stuff in a video that will definitely see the light of day. So, next time on Pokemon Red, we'll be talking about that. Don't know if this video is going to go up. It's kind of outdated, but at the same time, I'm trying to make it updated with this, and I don't know if I'm succeeding. Either way, see you guys next time. And hopefully not in 2 seconds, when Pokemon shoves a new Pokemon in my face and says, "Hey, guess what? You gotta remake this video now." Pokemon! Why do you keep doing this to me? I hate you and love you at the same time. Okay, real quick. Let's just go over these two guys. We got Monokuma and some weird Pikachu-possessed thing. Let's start with the bear. I don't know I can't pronounce their names because it's all in Japanese. I'll put it up on screen. But the point with the bear is, apparently he's really, really strong. And he loves his trainer, so he gives him super powerful crushing bear hugs. So watch out for this guy. He loves you, but he doesn't know what he's doing. I see him maybe being kind of like Pangoro? Maybe he's the evolved... No, he can't be the evolved form of Neko quality. He doesn't look anything like that. But I find the Pikachu doll one to be the far more interesting one, because in the... from what I'm reading on Cerebi, it says... the cloth is a way to avoid the sun, but it's a costume based on the Pokemon merchandise that was popular 20 years ago when, Pokemania, and it wants to be loved like Pikachu is. I think that's a really cool way to tie it into the real world, a very interesting way, even if its design is blatantly ripping off Baynet, who has a similar backstory where it's the possessed ghost of a children's toy that was thrown away. It's aside from the, let's just take and copy paste the Pokemon design, I really think it's cool. It's gonna be Ghost Fairy, and if I remember correctly, the bear is gonna be normal fighting. Ghost Fairy feels like a pretty cool typing. I feel like that's gonna be fun to play around with, because that's gonna have some crazy strategies with it, especially if it gets just the variety of moves that they get. Normal fighting, I'm a little bit less excited about. He looks like he's just another fighting type, another, one-stage fighting type like Hitmonlee or Hitmonchan, or more accurately, Stalk and Throw. I'm trying to think of a Pokemon that isn't, paired with another one that's like that, but I can't come up with one off the top of my head. So, yeah, I guess that's about it. Hopefully, I'll get this all uploaded today, because otherwise... there's just gonna be a new Pokemon right around the corner, and I'm just gonna be like, well, this is the project that never ends. Either way, I hope to see you guys soon in an actual LP video, because hopefully I'll have time this weekend. I don't know, we'll see. But until then, hopefully this will tide you over and explain where I have been for the past month or so. Things happened. Life happened. Life happens. That's the moral of the story, so... Goodbye, everybody!